a Ramadan session. Okay, we have a Ramadan session coming up, and we want to share that with you as well. So, our Ramadan session will be every Saturday during the blessed month of Ramadan here on AM 360 from 2 p.m. Eastern Time until 4:30 Eastern Time. Every Saturday, we will have two presenters, um, some presenting on the same topic from different angles, and other weekends we'll have two presenters presenting two different topics. So our first weekend is going to be Brother Edward Willis, um, presenting on building sustainable family and community life, and Imam Tariq Abdul Mu'min presenting on preserving the faith and preserving the family's life source, the soul. Okay, that'll be February 21st, our first Ramadan session. So we don't want to miss that. Uh, be present during that time. And now we will turn the mic over to our next host, Imam Tariq Abdul Mu'min, and he is the facilitator for entrepreneurs and development. Assalamu alaikum to you and welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum assalam, everyone. I pray you all are doing well and get my body loosened up here a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. As we always do, I'm somewhat a time conscious person. Now, if you're joining us for the first time, note this: we want you to make some comments um, or some additions to anything we present that's going to help us along the line of being an entrepreneur or establishing business in our life. So let's do that interchange, but stay in those boundaries of why we why we're here today, and we want to stay be brief in everything as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. As usual, we start with verses from the Quran, but I don't want to say our main topic is what I was just getting ready to say. What we're going to be discussing because the Quran is always our main topic. But we will be discussing how should married couples register business and how to run a business with your spouse and remain happily married. And as always, we have statements from Imam Muhammad. So we're gonna go ahead and make sure I got this correct. Share. Okay. Do I welcome? And we'll get started. Oh Lord, this thing is not responding. Okay, here we go. Okay. Uh, is that showing up now?
Not yet.
Okay. I thought I had everything worked out. My apologies.
Oh,
But
that's no problem. It's technology.
yeah,
I can put the flyer back up for Ramadan and go over the next week of the Ramadan schedule if you like me
please,
to.
yes, ma'am. Please do so. And I'm probably gonna have to just do this
Okay.
way.
So we talked about the first week of the Ramadan schedule, which would be February 21st. We have two presenters and we discussed those. The second week of Ramadan on Saturday from 2 until 4:30 p.m. We will have Imam Shahid Abdullah, and Imam Yusuf Ramadan, and they will both be presenting on the four birds: business, education, culture, and government. Business, education, culture, and government from 2 to 4:30 p.m. Then that third week, we have sisters presenting. Our CEO, Sister Khalida Akbar, will present on marriage, the foundation of healthy, thriving, righteous communities and civilizations. And Sister Mahasan Abdul Salam, and her topic will be facing the challenge of successful shura bainahum in Muslim marriage. Life in Muslim married life, pardon me, mutual consultation. And these presentations will take place on the third Saturday in Ramadan, which will be March the 7th, inshallah. Are we ready, Imam Tariq?
Well, I'm gonna try something different here.
Okay. And the fourth week of Ramadan, we have two presenters presenting on the same topic. Um, Imam Abdul Aziz and Imam Omar Shakir of Houston, Texas, will be presenting on forgiveness, mercy, and freedom from hellfire, making our nafs Muslim. And that will be March 14th, Saturday, March 14th, all from 2 until 4:30 p.m. These Ramadan sessions are free of charge, and you can log in just as you do any of our shows with the meeting ID and the passcode. And the link that you have to enter our Zoom sessions will also work. Okay. So please take advantage of these sessions and listen to our presenters. And may we all benefit from what we are hearing, inshallah. So we'll go back to our meeting with Imam Tariq Abdul Mu'min.
Okay.
And we are seeing your screen. It is coming up now.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. I think we're there now. Okay. Again, my apologies, and we want to thank you all for joining us. We'll get right into this with the and inspiring teachings from our teacher, Imam Tariq Muhammad. May Allah be pleased with him for his efforts and have him in the best place in the paradise. As you can see on this flyer, this cartoon image of his father, uh, a lot of strong symbolism in this image in showing, telling the person to get up and do something for himself. So Imam Tariq Muhammad said, I think as Muslims, we should just shout when someone says, come, let us make an effort to improve our business circumstances. We should just shout, hey, let's go, let's go. We should be ready to go. And so this organization is organized to make sure that the enthusiasm for business growth stays with us, to make sure as many people as many people as possible are involved with business in our neighborhoods. We are promoting and keeping things happening. Our business people, we quote Imam, have to see our roots in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's call to financial responsibility, to business development, to some economic plan. We can't deny him that credit which he has earned. He was the one who excited us, the African American people. It was an excitement to have a bigger appetite for not only wealth, but also for bigger responsibility that gives bigger respect to a people. We, we have to grow financially Our community cannot support our schools, our mosques, our religious and spiritual needs if we don't have money. We have to have some money. I'm not going to be stupid sitting around here waiting on some rich Arab, some rich Iranian to give us some money. I don't want that. My self-respect don't want that. So the best way is the way that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, do for self. We have come to a point in our growth as a Muslim community in America that if we don't create finances for ourselves, for our children, we can't and won't grow anymore as an impactful and productive Muslim community in America. You just can't have Islamic life in your heart and in your spirit. Islamic life has to be expressed in Islamic structures. Islamic life has to be expressed in halal businesses. Islamic life has to be expressed in homes owned by Muslims, in factories owned by Muslims. Yes, in productive land owned by Muslims, in transportation for shipping products owned by Muslims, in cars and buses and trucks, trains, and airplanes owned by Muslims. The God who gave me my material flesh, which I express myself, and also you all in your sense, wants us to have schools and massages of quality and beauty, factories, financial institutions, financing our schools, financing our people who have automobiles to have insurance and not have to go outside of themselves to get insurance. Why do we have those building structures? So that our spirit will be in many instruments to express itself. And then here, I just thought I would upload these images here. He's speaking on New Africa. We want to see New Africa. We want to see New Africa Islamic theaters. We want to see skyscrapers going up, and we build them. We want to see shipping lines and trucking lines and transportation lines all over in our neighborhoods. We want to walk outside of our house and we want to look at the products in the constructions and industry of our own people, Muslim African Americans in New Africa. In New Africa, on these shores, that's our rightful inheritance as the creation of God. God has created us for this. That's our natural inheritance, and we will accept nothing less. And then we have another one. We don't have in the history of Prophet Muhammad, where Prophet Muhammad was going about checking on people. We don't have in the history of Prophet Muhammad, where Prophet Muhammad was trying to get all of the business in his control. We don't have in the history of Prophet Muhammad where Prophet Muhammad was trying to ascertain what was going on in all locales and all the towns so he could have control over the life of the people. We only have in the history of Prophet Muhammad where he gave advice when it was asked outside of the regular job of his prophethood, when he was inspired to speak to the people. When we when he was not inspired to speak to the people, he was just like a common neighbor. He worked with his wife in the house. He did chores. He went to the market to get groceries for the household. He was seen carrying on the common life of everybody else. How could he do that and be the man that he was, the leader that he was? Excuse me. Oh, it's gone. Because because he was sent to bring about a truly participatory democracy where people accept responsibility for their own circumstances, apply the light of God, apply the wisdom of God, and don't expect the man who gave it to you from the mouth of God to be right there with you your by your side, watching you. And I think that's okay. And this is the conclusion of some statements from Imam Muhammad. We cannot have a healthy community or a healthy morale, good morale for our community if we don't have a showing in business growth or business development. It's a must. It will be heavy on our soul. It will be taxing our spirit if we don't have a business showing in our community. Business is a must. You have to produce for yourself. Take care of your own. That means your own neighborhood too. We need people. We need people of like interest, especially business interests. If you know each other and you know something is happening in your area by persons of good character, and they are contributing to the business growth of our association of members, their people in their locale should try to tie up with them if they have like minds and like interests tied together. And we do need organizations like the Entrepreneurs and Development Institute. I just thought I'd put that in there verbally because that's where I got about us from this statement right here. Just to make sure that the enthusiasm for business growth stays with us and to make sure as many people as possible are involved with business of our neighborhood. We need organizations just of business people to promote and keep things happening. So if anyone have any comments while we go to our next slide, please do so. And we will continue. Any comments?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, Imam
Walaikum
Tariq.
assalam. Go
It's,
ahead, my brother.
yes, of everything that you read this morning concerning business, we don't have any of that. The man speak about we have to have money to support our schools, our messages, our institutions. He spoke about we have our trains, uh, shipping companies, all of that. I'm saying, when did the man make that lecture? And where are we now in the point of accomplishing any of that? I tell the people to go into your neighborhood and see what do you own in your neighborhood. And when you go and do that, you'll see that somebody else is providing your food, clothing, and shelter. The Asians, the Japanese, the Chinese, everybody else is providing all this in our community. So when are we going to step up to anything that you just read this morning, what the man said we should do, the business?
We are stepping, but I don't know. I know it is some steps being made. And I think we're part of those steps that's being made. I'm talking about those of us that's here at this very moment having this conversation right now, AM 360, and others. But I'm just focusing in on us because we're still here. And I think we are serious about fulfilling what Imam Wanthi Muhammad has said for us to do, or else you wouldn't be still here on this call. So we have to go with who we have. And there's others' efforts too, but we need to all try to come together and to be more. And I'm not trying to sound negative, but let's just continue to do what we are doing and keep doing this. And because if we give up, that's what someone want us to do is give up in everything. So if it were just one or two other persons on this call, I would still present the same way, the same way.
Yeah, that's what the Imam said in his last public address. Just one more second. Said in his last public address, 2 days before he transitioned. May Allah grant him with the highest paradise. Two days before he transitioned, he said there are 3 or 4 thousand people, and there are 3 or 4 of you. Then Allah has chosen you to lead the many.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're looking for that 3 or 4 people to lead the many. We're still waiting. But
Okay.
we're going to keep on moving, like you said. Thank you.
Keep on pushing. And that's what Curtis Mayfield said in that song. Keep on pushing like your leaders tell you to do.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me not go too far. Y'all hear me trying to sing.
Thank you for taking my comments.
Okay. Anyone else before we go on? Okay. Um, we also go to the Quran. Now this is our time period. We're going to look at some verses from the Quran, and we want to look at Surah Al-Quraysh. And Allah says right here in this first ayat, this is a Meccan surah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, with Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. Li ilafi Koresh. And yes, they translated for the covenants of security and the safeguard enjoyed by the Koresh. Now, just a brief grammar explanation. This comes from the root word alafa, the aleph, lam, and the fa. Now, in grammar, the aleph is used to make a connection or to give a command. So it's talking about, and this is just what I'm seeing, that is saying Allah is giving us a command here, alifai, to come together. And he's saying by the coming together of the Quraysh. The Quraysh people, was an ethnic group of people. We know our prophet, prayers and peace of Allah be upon him, was part of that group, and other influential people in our history as Muslims was part of this ethnic group. They controlled the, if my understanding is correctly, they controlled that part of the world. They controlled the trade and everything. And however, they had just abandoned the oneness of Allah, and we know the history behind what they was doing at the Kaaba. They wasn't respecting it as a sacred sanctuary. So Allah had given them he's telling about them coming together for trade. And the verb form qarasa is, it means to earn. EARN. So they was earning through trading, through trading. Any comments before I go on? Okay. Now, this next one, the verse say, "Elafihim." Allah used that expression again for them coming together for going on a journey. They translated a journey, but rihala uh, as a noun is talking about cargo. Rihala. The other places you will find this word used is Surah to Yusuf, chapter 12, where they in the story of Yusuf, and they translated, I think it said they put his stock in trade, etc., etc. So this term rahala is used. So Allah said they was traveling, going on journeys during the winter and the summer. Now, why the spring and fall is not mentioned? Well, and then you're going in the summer. I know it was hot, but the winter pretty well probably cool. But the hot climate, they was going out traveling to make some money. Now, the alify, we somewhat already briefed that in the Rihal, what that is talking about. The other places you will find it is, here we are, chapter 12 for Rihal, verse 62, verse 70 and 75. You'll find that in the story of Yusuf. So cargo ships, globally industry was valued at 11.26 billion in 2023, expected to reach 4.2 trillion by 2031. Cargo planes, because now we're talking about cargo, what these verses was talking about. Well, no, not what they were, they still is talking about moving cargo. Cargo planes, the global industry, 66.6 billion in 2021, expected to hit around 133.447 billion by 2031. Freight trains, one just came through a minute ago by where I'm at. The market estimated 281.24 billion, expected to reach 509.93 billion by 2029. That's that rehighlight. FedEx, annual revenue 2024, 88 billion. UPS, 98.958 billion. That's as of 2023. Amazon estimated up to 4.5 million in 2023. And the United States Postal Service, annual 78.2 billion. That was as of 2023. Now, this is why I chose to start with what's here on the screen now. Okay? Because I was part of a conversation last night. I think it lasted about 3, 4 hours. I wasn't able to attend the whole of it, but it was talking about products. The conversation was about products that our community needs to produce. And Khalida, our dear beloved sister Khalida Akbar, convened this meeting, and it was very enlightening. Maybe some of you was part of it. So this is a list of products that that has been given to us to consider bringing, having probably manufactured, where everything has to be pretty well much manufactured and bought into this country. And we'll give that information. If Khalida, if you're with us, please help me out on this if I may have overlooked uh, uh, type something wrong, because I just recently added this what we own now prior to coming on this morning, where I was typing it as I was listening to the previous program. So bed, we'll start bed sheets, and I'm probably gonna have probably I probably go after maybe next week. I'm gonna go and look and see what the current monetary value of each of these things, because it's important that we know for whoever compiled this list. Obviously, it's some money involved in this to be made, and as you've seen, the current monetary value of the shipping companies, they ship this product from where it's manufactured to where the end user, et cetera, et cetera. So everybody have opportunity to make some money. Bed sheets, urban clothes, trash bags, tape for shipping, shipping labels, light bulbs, toothpaste in tube, fabric softener, dish detergent, clippers. I got that one up there twice. I got clippers again. Mop compact, broom compact, latex gloves for homes, pack backs clear in colors, scissors, first aid kits, blenders, dustpan set, smoke alarm, wipes, trash cans, stainless steel and plastic, clothes hanger set, earphones, knee brace, floor mats for house and vehicle, women underwear, bra set, diapers for children and adults, bread grooming kit, shoes for men, shoes for women, makeup kit, designer bags, surge protectors, fans, electric, USB wall chargers, blood pressure machine, men belts, neck strips for barber and salon shops, dinnerware set, children one list. That one I'm probably gonna need some help on what that mean. I didn't look it up yet. Cookware, cotton balls, cooking utensils, knife set, tool set, silverware set, oven mitts, cotton, oven mitts, silicone, bakeware sponges, aprons, bath mats, shower curtains, bathroom sets, food cleaner, children romper thermometer, baby pacifiers, baby bibs, padlocks, backpacks, luggage, disposable razors, freezer bags, storage bags, salt and pepper grinder, bamboo cutting boards, cotton swabs, bandages, toothbrush and mouthwash, men underwear, pens and pencils, paper towels, tissue paper, soap and women napkins. And reason that's in bold print because it was a bold print on the information I got. But it was discussed, and then Khalida and whoever was there with us now was in the last night in the meeting. Um, it was talking about someone had one. I think they said it was a halal sanitary napkin for women, or something to that effect, if my memory serves me correct, because that's a big market for that. So this was given to us by Malik. Is that, do I have the name correct? Malik Salim or Salim Malik. His telephone number is here on the screen. You can see it at 404-578-7457. He gave us this list to that way that he can help anyone who want to get plugged in to be able to have these manufacturers, have these products manufactured so you can bring them in to the marketplace here, when probably just not necessary here, but this was what was given. Now I'm gonna go back to the shoes. Um, a few years ago, my relationship with some business partners of mine, where we still have that relationship. I had designed some men's shoes based on the ones that I have been wearing for the most part for the greater part of my life, and but that didn't. I'm just saying it didn't manifest yet in everything. So, but I do know there's opportunities for us to get different products. So, Brother Malik has made this offer to us to help us get plugged in to those manufacturers over there if you want to do any of this. And it might be more. This is just what he gave us last night. So Kalita, are you on with us? Is Kalita with us?
She is
Yes,
with us. Yes, go ahead.
Kalita,
Yeah.
can
yes,
you make any corrections that need to be made concerning this, please? Do some additions to this from your bringing him in your last night. Go ahead.
yes. I did hear you say women's napkins. Uh,
Yes.
and one of the reasons that's needed because the current ones that are on the market, a lot of them use toxic materials. And so there was a young lady about 8 years ago who came to the business conference with that David Hassan had in Greensboro, and she did a presentation, and she was Muslim, an African American Muslim, young adult, and she had created a sanitary napkin for women. She did a full presentation on the toxins that were in it, how they tie to a lot of the uterine cancer, and also does I think she said they also caused, I know she said, because I was in the presentation, but she said they cause like bladder infections and urinary tract infections and things like that for women. So it's very important for us to not just trust what's on the market, to support our Muslim vendors and strive to be as educated in any type of consumer industry as possible. Because a lot of times they're just out to make a dollar. They take the cheapest product and use it. And we trust it because it's in on the market, and that's not good. I didn't hear you say anything else that was incorrect.
Yes,
The,
the
okay.
onesies. He was trying to understand what the onesies
Oh
were
yeah,
for
the children
children.
onesies. Yeah, please tell me what that is.
That's the one item access a pants and a top. It snaps
Oh,
together. Yeah, it's a
oh,
onesie.
okay. Well, see, I don't have any children, but I don't raise enough. I don't raise enough of nieces and nephews, now great nieces and nephews. So I should have known what that what that was.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, then. Wow, that's interesting. But yeah, it's a lot of interesting things on here because it's just like I'm looking at this screen where it say men belts. I'm about to order me a black belt and a brown belt from Amazon. But one thing I don't see on here, I'm sure that's something I can reach out and find out, is suspenders. I like suspenders and everything. So, but the opportunity is there. I'm gonna go back to this screen here. If you need for me to go back, this is his number right here too, that you can get. But I got the when I send in my presentation from uh because this is included in my slide where I got all the things from the Quran with right here. So, but I will send you this list that I have on my phone when I send this my two presentations that I do to Sister Manira, and you always have it that way. So, do anyone have any questions before we go on? Comments? Please do so.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. I had a real quick comment. Brother Salim, he really wanted everyone to know that he will be back tonight, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, inshallah, on the American Muslim 360 Zoom. But also quickly if you have an idea, reach out to him on that number. He will walk you through it. He has connections with manufacturers who can help you get the supplies to whatever product you are wanting to
Okay, I went
create.
back. I went back
Invest.
to the screen to make sure everybody will have the number now. But again, sometime this evening or tomorrow, more likely to be this evening. I think I get that to Manira and she will get it to everyone concerning this. But since I'm here, I want to go ahead and go to something else. And this is from a piece I shared it briefly once before. um, I want to go ahead. It's from an article that I was reading from a brother. Uh, it's titled "What Entrepreneurs in the Business World Can Learn from Umar ibn al-Khattab," and we know he was the second, quote unquote, the Khalifa following Abu Bakr over the Muslim community. And I think until I got this right here, and I just was told that he was, before coming into Al Islam, he was like beating up on people, and everybody feared him, and everything. So until I read this, I never knew he was a businessman. But it says one day during his Khalifa, he entered the marketplace and was taken aback when he looked around and saw that most of the people who were doing business were foreigners who in the past had worked as farmers. Okay. So we know we got a lot of people coming into this country doing business in our neighborhood. Where Umar asked himself, where are the native inhabitants of Mecca and Medina? Why were they not doing business? When the people gathered together a short while later, Umar criticized them for abandoning the marketplace. In their own defense, they said, verily, by Allah granting us victory, he has made us rich, so that we no longer need the marketplace. Umar said, by Allah, if you continue in this manner, you will become dependent on their men, and your women will become dependent on their women. So see, so we can't abandon the marketplace. And then it go on. Another one, he said, a person reported by the name of Ibn Muhammad Ibn Sirin that him and his father attended Salat al-Maghrib with Umar. And afterwards, I'm kind of paraphrasing this, and I'm trying not reading it word for word. And he came to me, and I had a small pile of clothes. He asked, what is this you have? I said, some clothes. I come to this marketplace and I buy and sell. Now, Umar responded, he said, old people of Quraysh. Now, that Quraysh, again, do not let him and others like him beat you in business. For business is 1/3 of achieving leadership over others. So I say, old African Americans, okay? I'm gonna go back and put African Americans down in parentheses. Now, and I think it's another. Umar once said to his people, had it not been for these business transactions, you all would have been dependent on other people. And yeah, these are 3 different quotes from him. I need to put that little star by that. I'll go back and do it later. Umar said, oh, group of poor people, raise your heads with dignity and do business. For the way of doing business is open to you. And do not become dependent on other people. And he would say, if he saw a young man that he was impressed with, he would ask, does he have a profession? And if the answer was no, he would say, I have a different opinion of him. And then learn a trade, for the time draws near when some of you will need to know a trade in order to earn a living. And that about sums it up. He quotes something from the Surah Selected Jum'ah after this one right here. So let us study these things real closely, and but I can get the fullness of this report too if I don't forget it to attach it to the email, Manira, when I send it out. And then it'll be. I still got the article. I just have to remember to do it. Is there anyone have any questions before we go on?
I have a comment, not a question.
Comment. Thank you. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. The we did the same thing in our history at Tuskegee. They if they learned a profession, they also had to learn a trade.
Mm-hmm.
To provide those services for the community. Uh, so um, we have had this some form of this in our history here as African Americans in the United States. So we want to keep that, be conscious of that as well.
Mm-hmm. And while I'm changing slides, unless someone else got something to say, I'll yield. Um, the young man, he was probably right at 30, he said, who delivered our Ramadan food boxes that we're getting ready to pass out next week. And it was a regular box truck, and I was just talking to him and about some things. Then I thought I would ask him, would he be interested in learning how to open up his own truck company, delivering company? He stopped and said, man, yes, I would. And I say, but hold on, let me kind of explain some things to you. I'm not saying this to you for you to quit working for this company that you're working for. Don't do that. I said, but at least know what you have to do. I said, I can walk you through the stages of doing it. And what I would recommend, if that take place, just be a private contractor with this same company and everything. And I say, at least start there and you keep the good relationships. I say, because the person that brokered the deal for the company that you work for, he just forget the name. I guess a broker, Matt. He Muslim brother, and I thought he worked for the entity that provide us with these food products, but he don't. He's not one of theirs. Muslim brother owned his own company where he brokered things dealing with logistics and stuff for shipping. And so that's what I was kind of sharing with this young man that look at doing that. And he was very, very interested. So see, a lot of people just don't know. They think it's a big old hard process. And again, we dealing with a fear, people having fear of failure. And that's the reason I always tell them, don't quit your job. I don't want you to do that. Because a lot of municipalities, uh, they hire private contractors to do the garbage pickup, the sewage and water people, et cetera, et cetera. That way, they don't have to pay the insurance and all those other benefits. Okay, where are we on the time here? Okay, we're doing good. We're doing good. Do anyone have any questions before we go to this? And comments, please do so. Anyone? Okay. Well, this next slide, how should married couples register a business? Okay, the business, what does that say? In business, sickness, and business health. That's just how the article was. Okay, and I just thought it was interesting. I thought I would use it for this. So we say you're married and you want to run a business with your spouse. Congratulations. And if you're not married, and I'm gonna try to be real brief. Don't ever be one of those persons who say that I'm not gonna marry. I'm talking to us as Muslims. Our prophet had to answer a situation with three people where three men. One said that he was going to fast all the time and not sleep. One said he was going to pray all the time, and his body wouldn't be able to do that. If we know that. And the other one said he's not going to marry women. He's not going to marry. So the prophet got this, and he followed up with him. He said, "Look at him." He said, "I sleep and I pray. I fast and I break my fast." And then he said, "I marry women." Okay. And he says, so those of you who is not doing this, you're not following me, none whatsoever. So I'm trying to stay with this, but someone else telling me to keep going with this about this on the marriage thing, because I know for a fact that is too many, and I'm gonna say brothers for the most part that I deal with. Let me make this a little bit more, because I don't know what nobody else doing that I'm not around. But those whom I'm around in my locale, I hear too many of them. Well, I don't want to marry. Marriage is this. Marriage comes place this. Well, Prophet Muhammad said, "He who choose not to marry is not of my tradition." And he said, "I marry women." And I'm hearing this too much. That regardless of what you ran into yesterday, what happened yesterday, that was yesterday. And they got, I'm hearing all these different excuses and reasons why I don't have this and I don't have that. That's a verse in the Quran in Surah An-Nur where Allah say, even if you in fuqara, that's another term for poverty. It's two or three other terms in the Quran for poverty and not having things, but this particular one he used the fuqara. And he said, even if you in that state married, yes, we know we need material things to provide for our wives, our wives and children, etc. As a man, but you should never say, "I don't have money to marry." And as I recommend to people who have that mindset, let that sister know where you are and what you have and what you're trying to do. Don't use that as an excuse to crawfish away from doing something that Allah has ordained for you to do. But it's just, I think I better end here before we end up talking
Yeah.
about something we're not convening here today. But it's very, very important though, because we got a serious problem in our Muslim community, in
Yeah.
my
Can I
opinion. Huh?
can I make a
Please,
comment?
please do.
Yes, and my comment is business is closely associated with family life. Many successful business people started their business to provide for family.
Yeah.
For instance, the uh, Vienna hot dogs, the kosher hot
Mm,
dogs. Um, there was a Jewish uh, uh, young man whose mother wanted to eat kosher,
mm,
and he created the kosher hot dogs. Now
mm,
they're sold all around the world.
mm.
So many times out of the need for providing for family, um, these blessings come. And Allah tells us the that He will provide for us out of His means. So if you do right, seeking Allah, the pleasure of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, we have to have faith that the reward is there as well, and the more responsibility that you have in taking care of others, the more you are blessed to meet those obligations and to meet those responsibilities. Why would a man who has not accepted responsibility to provide for and take care of anyone else, what need is there for wealth?
Mm.
So we have to have that type of faith, inshallah.
Yes, you do. Because I know situations where the brother got a perfect setup. That's plural, brothers. Really plural. Perfect setup to just let someone slide right on up in there. If I can use that language, okay. I want to get too slang here, but but the thing is, I mean, slide right on up in there. But they it's like who you all are following. I did a cookbook a couple of weeks ago on influences. You got Muslim men, and I know this for a fact, listening to commentaries from folks who are not Muslim and telling them how they should be going after women and how to view women. And how can you have that person as a model? It's saddening, very very sad, in everything. So I could just go on and on with the really unacceptable comments or excuses that I would say coming from men. Now I can't recall of any sisters who have made statements that I'm not gonna marry. Well, I had one time, a long time member of our masjid, and she finally rescinded and got remarried again, and it's been lasting for years. Khalida, go ahead.
Brother Marsha, his hand was up first.
Oh, okay. I just
Okay.
seen your name by and it said in one other. I just happened to look up at the screen. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum, brother Imam.
Well,
Yeah,
salam.
and to everyone that's listening, I'm enjoying the conversation on that. And as a wordologist, I like to give an acronym I've used for many years in workshops and seminars that I've done in terms of money. Making others' needs, especially yours. For a man, and when you make others' needs, especially yours in that regard, you will make money. You will make money. It becomes the initiative given in that responsibility that you accept when you make others' needs, especially yours. You see, but it also, I heard you talking about professions and Sister Manira, professions, trades, skills, and all. That helps to develop that. It ignites that. That when you become a professional, when you become an entrepreneur, in which this production is all about, you see, because money becomes the byproduct of work. Money is the byproduct of work. Work is solving problems. Just think about how many jobs or professions or careers that wouldn't exist if it wasn't a problem or issue. Just think about that. So if money is the byproduct of work, when our young people choose, and we should be there to help for navigating for them, don't choose what you didn't get because you missed becoming a doctor or engineer or a lawyer or a teacher or what. But you should be there to help them navigate what Allah has already put in them, the natural born ability. And then they can earn top dollar that's in that profession or, in competitive trading and entrepreneurship. So we have to see money and put it in its proper perspective. When you make others' needs, especially yours, now you have a greater incentive for working. I'll stop there. There's much more to be said in that regard. Assalamu alaikum.
Khalida, go ahead, sis.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Just wanted to comment that what we were reading in the Quran about those who hold back and do not give in full measure. And just know that everything that Allah grants us is because of his bounty and grace. So if you are in a position, and I know the brothers that you were referring to, that you had spoken about before, they are in a position where they have the means and the ways to not only take care of themselves well, but take on a wife, but they choose to live in a mindset of comfortability. They don't want to have to deal with the nuances, so to speak, of marriage and the challenges and the blessings that come with it because they've been there, done that, and they're good. They're at a place in their life where they don't see or feel that urge to go and the need to have another human being in their presence at this time as a responsibility. And so I say all that to say, keep it in perspective because a law tells us that when we hold back and we don't give in full measure, that we will see that on the other side and we will be reprimanded or punished for not giving of what he blessed us to give, whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's knowledge, kindness, charity, whatever you have. Make sure you take care of yourself and your family first, of course, because you don't want to give to your blameworthy and destitute. And we all know by reading the Quran that that is in there, but also know that when he gives you something, he's expecting you to share it with other human beings and to grow and develop. And just to keep it balanced, I do want to say that if you are a woman and you are marrying someone because you really love that person and you want them to become their personal best. You know they don't have financial means to take care of you alone. It's going to take the two of you, or you're just going to have to live a very mediocre life until y'all can do better. Because women do that a lot of times. It's not well settle because they fear a lot and they want to please Allah. But there's also another side of that. Make sure it's someone who has their deen, they are stable, because there's a
Kalita,
lot of
Kalita,
sacrifice in
Kalita,
that. Hmm?
Kalita. Just do me a
Yes.
favor. I was letting you know I need to exit probably about for two. So could you keep your conversation going?
Yes.
No, I'm gonna stay on. I'm gonna stay on, but I just need to exit maybe about for 2 or 3 minutes. I might be back sooner. Okay. So keep your conversation going. Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead.
Really quickly, I was just saying that if you do settle or agree to go into a situation with less than you are used to, because the law tells us that you should at least provide something equal or greater to what that woman or that your wife is used to when you're bringing her into a situation, then know that that's a sacrifice between you and Allah, and that there are going to be other things that need to be able to compensate for that. If you're just going in to get a husband and you really are not fully in love with that person, you're not excited about marrying him, you're not in it to win it, you're just at a place where you just want companionship, then it's going to be like a double whammy, so to speak, because it's going to be challenges because you're already financially strained. Then if the person is not equally yoked, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, that is going to also put other triggers on that situation. So choose wisely. Allah gives us intelligence, and he also gives us information in the Quran on how to live, but he expects us to apply it in a way that is best for ourselves and our families, and to use it to make life good. He wants us to have good marriages. He wants us to live in healthy, happy situations. He doesn't want us to put ourselves in harm's way unnecessarily. So whatever we do, fi sabilillah, with sincerity in your heart, and be in it to win it, or don't do it at all. And I'll stop there.
I'm back now. Oh, right on time. Thank you. Anyone else have any comments before we go on? We coming into our last, concluding our first hour. The screen that you're currently looking at now, I'm not trying to give any ideas or promote plural marriage here. That image come from another one that I put together that I have concerning taxes being prepared for married couples. So I just thought I would use it here too. So I didn't want anybody to think we're trying to promote that. One of the ladies there is the tax preparer. Okay. Uh, uh, Now, so we'll go on. So, but structuring your business is already complicated. When the added variable for a marriage, how do you make decisions about the way the business will be legally structured and run? Now, I must say, again, this is an educational piece. I'm just providing information. I am not a tax preparer. So let's don't I can please get in contact with your tax preparer, not me. I'm just sharing some information that I researched and gathered. Okay. So this is what is this one here? This the basics. Okay. Partnerships. 1065 and S Corps 1120s provide the best combination of tax advantages, protection, and long-term stability for your business. If you're both actively in the business, choose an S Corp. If only one of you is actively working, choose either a partnership or S Corp. SMLLCs and qualified joint ventures have early advantages, but they are not ideal in the long run and leave you too vulnerable. Once you've decided to run a business with your spouse, it's time to pick which business structure you'll use and how you pay taxes. Some of your options include sole, pro- proprietorship, that is the Form 1040, a one owner business that doesn't include a legal identity separate from the owner. Income is reported on the owner's individual Form 1040 tax return. Partnership, Form 1065, a type of business with two or more owners. The business reports income on its own Form 1065 tax return, but the taxes are paid by the individual owners. S Corporation, Form 1120S, a type of corporation that report income on its own Form 1120S tax return, but the taxes are paid by the individual owner, known as shareholders or members. It also avoids additional corporate taxes. Limited liability corporation. Additionally, you can and often should form your business as a limited liability corporation LLC, a flexible type of business entity that can elect to be taxed as a sole proprietorship, partnership, S corp, or more. It combines this tax flexibility with excellent legal protection for its owners. It's a good idea to consider the effects this may have on the dynamics of your marriage and how your marriage might affect the business, whose names goes on which paperwork, how running a business together affect your relationship outside of work, what happens with the business if there's a divorce. Make sure that you think over possible scenarios, including divorce, death, etc., and have paperwork prepared in the advance to address them by an actual lawyer. Structures recommended. We'll cut to the chase. We nearly always recommend LLCs taxed as partnerships or S corps. The specifics will depend upon whether or not you and your spouse have both worked in the business. Both spouses work in the business. If you and your spouse plan not only on owning the business together, but both taking an active role in working there, an LLC tax as an S corporation is your best bet. S corps owners who work in the business are required to pay themselves reasonable compensation, essentially a competitive wage for the job. Both can also receive income in the form of distributions from the business Crucially, these distributions are subject to self-employment taxes, which can be significant. One spouse working the business. If only one of you takes an active role in running the business, you can pick between S Corp and partnership. The advantages of the S Corp apply just as well with one active owner as two. Splitting income between a reasonable wage and distribution means saving big on self-employment taxes. In a partnership, only the active owner will be held subject to self-employment taxes on their portions of the profit. Great. However, if the business loses money, only the active owner can take their losses as a tax deduction. The non-active partner will be able to carry those losses over to future years. We ultimately recommend working with a good CPA to assess which of these options should be more advantageous for your unique situation. Avoiding the audit risk of Schedule C. A key advantage shared by the S Corp and the partnership tax structures is that they avoid reporting the business's income on your personal tax returns, which would be Schedule C on your Form 1040. This means that S Corps and partnerships have a much lower risk of IRS audit, which can be stressful and expensive to navigate. It's very common for small businesses to be run as sole proprietorships or as a single member LLC. A one owner LLC taxed as a sole proprietorship. We're not into that. Sole proprietorships and SMLLCs are both simpler to own and operate than partnerships and S corps, and don't require the time and expense of filing a separate tax return for the business. This can make sense if the business is just a side gig that isn't intended as the sole source of a living, but the disadvantages are significant. When the business's income is reported on your individual tax return, it opens you up to some massive risk. Mingling your personal and business finances like that mean that creditors, audits, lawsuits, and more can target you and your personal assets in addition to the assets of your business. And SMLLC provides some protection, but still usually leaves your personal and business finances dangerously intertwined. Like, what about a qualified joint venture? A qualified joint venture is a unique type of business structure available only to married couples that allows them to be treated as one business owner. That means a married couple can run their family business as a sole proprietorship or SMLLC while owning it together. This is intended to avoid the hassle and expense of an extra tax return while still recognizing both spouses as owners. However, this still leaves you open to the same vulnerabilities of a typical sole proprietorship, and we cannot recommend this option. The safest move is filing a separate tax return for your business, and that means partnerships and S corps. Bottom line, going into business with your spouse is a big step, and the decisions you make early on can affect your success for years to come. Setting up your business as an S corp or partnership can be complicated up front, but the protection and stability this provides in the long term is more than worth it. The information, yeah, presented was for educational purposes only. Observers should consult with an attorney or CPA to determine the appropriate type of entity before setting up a business. And that concludes why should married couples register a business. Any comments, corrections, recommendations, please do so at this time while we switch out. Go ahead if anyone have any thing you want to add. We'll add here. Is there anyone who have some comments or some questions or can make some recommendations that got the experience and background in taxes? Because like I said, I'm just providing information. This is not my specialty. Okay, here we are. This one here is how to run a business with your spouse and remain happily married. Any questions from the last one before we go on? Okay, let's go on. The truth about being in business with your spouse, how to navigate work and life together. Working with your spouse, not just working with them, but also owning and running a business together has many advantages and disadvantages. Learning what works best for the two of you as a team takes practice, patience, trial, and error, and a whole lot of negotiation. When key takeaways in this, when a spousal partnership clicks, it's one of the best feeling in the world. Following these 5 rules of the house to make your partnership hum and your business thrive. It is a story as old as time. Two people marry, they decide to go into business together because, hey, why not? They're already each other's best friend, trust the other implicitly, and presumably share the same professional goals for their future. Given how relatively common marital marriages are, much has been written on the topic. Some call it a science more than an art. Some deem it magic, and many married co-owners have shared tips and tidbits about this particular life situation. Every married couple is different. Make a goal of a business partnership right here, right now, at this unique point in history. Disadvantages of a spouse-run business. Getting on each other's last nerve because you'll be the only ones there to ignore. As a result, undeservingly taking frustrations out on one another again because of the proximity factor. Letting work talk creep, even seep into your after hours discussions too much and too often. Not having an outside objective business partner to bounce ideas off or counter your arguments when you need countering. Not having separate work families to hang with during the day, separate from your home families to return to when the workday is done. The power to struggle that can sometimes arise when one partner dominates a little more than the other in certain areas, both being dependent on the same source of income. Advantages of a spouse-run business. You totally have each other's backs. There is no one way to rely on and trust more. And so there's no one to whom you rather entrust the fate of your business. Heightened empathy. You have to share your joys and your sorrows together. Really share them, not just commiserate with each other over over the dinner table, because they can happen to the both of you. You equally hold responsibility for your wins and losses, which makes for a more equal partnership. It's much easier to coordinate business schedules and endless family chores when you're splitting them up together in real time, based on who's more available that day to take care of the home while the other is mired in work. All business finances and decisions are fully transparent and accessible to the other. Every day, all the time, you should be working towards the same end goal. You should not have competing interests or priorities. 5 rules of the house. Rule number one, formally schedule work time. If you don't erect firm time boundaries, you will never truly get away from the office and into your personal relationship space. Sometimes you can combine the two, being both a couple, spending time together, and business partners using that time productively. For example, at least once a week, schedule a 20-minute walk during which you hold hands and enjoy the outdoors, but you also agree to go over work issues. Number two, work in separate spaces. This is really important. You each need your own space to work freely, organize things the way you want them, play music or insist on silence, remain immovable at the desk for hours or pace the floor nonstop. As husband and wife, don't just work in separate offices. You should work on separate floors or rooms. Realize that not everyone has the square footage for two individual offices. You can devise a configuration of the two distinct workstations in separate areas of your overall workspace. It's the best way to work together, but not in a stifling way. 3, plan date nights and date days. You must have couple time, not just co-partner time. This cannot be stressed enough. Before you agree to designate time on the calendar just for the two of you, not your business at all. The business can be all consuming and overpowering, threatening to destabilize the union. You'll be forced to wrestle back control over your daily planners. Don't let things get to that point. Set aside time to be a couple from the start. 4, accept that you will disagree, but do so in private. Because wife, mom, and husband, dad are always work partners, even at sports games or vacationing with the family. Your children are bound to overhear some of your shop talk. Inevitably, inevitably as that may be, you must strive mightily not to argue about work in front of the children. They will feel the tension and sense the discord that has nothing to do with the two of you as a couple and everything to do with you as co-workers. When you need a facilitator or referee, you bring in your business manager to mediate. Do not use your children or other family members as sounding boards for your own sides of an argument. 5, divide and conquer. As mentioned above, when you're right there with each other all day, it makes much easier to determine who's more accessible at that moment to pick up the children, to run this one to play practice, or to pick up a certain vegetable for tonight's salad. You don't have to keep a formal tally sheet, but you should have a very good sense of when one of you is picking up more of the slack and you make a concerted effort to even things out in the long run. Don't resent the other for being able to leave the office when one of you is sick, you're sick, is stuck on an endless conference call because they are leaving the office to take care of something for your joint life. Everyone wins when you divvy up the duties as housemates and office mates. Conclusion. Running a business with the person you're closest to in the world isn't for everyone. If you need a long time, if you're more of a solo act than a team player, and if the two of you just jive together when you spend some time apart each day, I wouldn't advise it. But for couples who are comfortable with each other's work styles, who work in the same industry, and bring separate but equally valuable skill sets to the enterprise, it's a wonderful option to go through life together, feeling even more connected and conjoined. Not only can you navigate the challenges, but you will because you're in it together every single step of the way. That concludes how to run a business with your spouse and remain happily married. Comments, questions, this is the time to do it. Go ahead. We need to go back on something. Please say so. We will do that. Kalita?
Yes, I just wanted to mention being optimistic about going into life with your spouse because you're happy, you're in love, you want to be successful. So many of us go in with an optimistic mindset. You're willing to do whatever it is because you are both going to benefit. So just having that conversation with that person and make sure that you have a clear understanding of what their expectation is because if you come in to a zone that they're maybe insecure in or they're used to being in the open around a lot of people and they invite you in that space and you come in with the best of intentions wanting to help if they're a person who like the slide was saying, likes to be alone in that area or likes to run it or has those the people that they're working with in a certain mind space, and you're striving to help them because you see the vision, you've talked about it. When you actually get in that space, you will be able to determine how that if there actually is a space for you based off of that spouse's disposition, their reaction, and them actually making a physical and mental space for you. So just have those conversations in advance. I would also advise being in that space with that person, with the co-workers or the people that are also in that same business, if there are others, in a community, and seeing how he interacts or she interacts with you around them. As far as the respect, as far as just providing that space. And if you see any type of resentment or animosity and you don't know where it's coming from, head it off early on with conversations or try to bring in other people for counsel. But I think it's better to just save your marriage at that point if there is a conflict that can lead to even verbal, physical outlashes that come from anywhere, because I've seen this before. Then I would definitely advise to just back off and allow that person to grow in their own space and do your work outside in other areas of the community. So just knowing your spouse can be half the battle. And this is an excellent presentation. I appreciate it. And thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to make some comments, suggestions? Because this is just, again, some research uh, that I discovered, I mean, through research and looking for things to bring to our attention. And this is recommendations from someone else. I thought it was inspiring enough to bring it and share it with us. So you might have some past experience or current experience in this area. We want you to share that with us. So please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
This is Sister Rashida in Louisiana. I would just like to share a little bit and thank you, Imam Tariq and Sister Khalida. I just want to share a few other things as well. I think sometimes in relationship with your spouse, communication is so important. And sometimes we don't like to communicate. When we in the home, we just say basic things to each other. And I think you have to get creative sometimes to find ways to work together and find ways to talk about solving problems and, just look up things together sometimes in the relationship and share workshops together and do things that way and keep competition healthy and productive, but find new ways to come up with new things to share with each other and your team, and just work healthy and prayerfully. I'll stop there. I could go on, but alhamdulillah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah.
Is there anyone else needing to? Oh, that's the sheet of hands still up. Anyone else?
Yeah, I just wanted to say to me, a competition to me with a spouse, these people look at it differently. But because I had an example when my mother was so supportive of my father, he was who he was. He always said that because of her. But you never saw her out front doing a whole lot of things. She didn't like to speak out loud, wasn't up front doing any type of things. Her work was behind the scenes. But her humility, her nurturing, her wisdom kept her out of a lot of mess with sisters at the masjid. She told me why she did what she did because and I watched her go through some things, but she had the wisdom to support her husband from behind and stay out of a lot of fitna, a lot of mess, and he was able to excel. So if we both know our roles, we also know the people that are in our community and who we are dealing with, and we're not trying to play two different types of people, one against another, or um, I guess, environments where people you pit one person against the other so they can have pity or paint a picture that your spouse is not really doing what they can do so you can do and entertain other people. So there's other reasons why people do things, but I want to say to me, when I'm in a marriage, we're on the same team. So I didn't come in with that mindset. And I don't think like that. So it is like Sister Rashida said, very good to communicate and know what you're getting into and also be able to assess your situation. Don't just jump in saying, oh, alhamdulillah, we're Muslim. I'm going in here, give it all I got. We're going to have a wonderful life together. You really have to get to know people and you have to examine them and not just your marriage, but how they interact with other people because eventually things come out. Yes, yes, ma'am. Thank you. Go ahead, Sister Rashida. Thank you.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't know I'm gonna put myself on mute. I thought I was on mute, but I just said the environment. Assess your environment. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you, Khalida. If there's not, if is there anyone else need to make some comments or need a slide pulled back up for further clarity, or you will be getting these uh, uh, later on today or tomorrow, Allah willing. So if we don't have any more comments or questions, Sister Manira, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna close out.
Yes,
And
and I'd just like to say that if you would like to uh, the workbooks to be forwarded to you, send an email to me at halaka360@yahoo.com. That's HALAQA360@yahoo.com. I only send them to those who have let me know they want to receive them. Um, so I will have the correct email address when you email me to send them to you. And again, that's HALAQA, Halakha 360 @yahoo.com. Thank you.
you're welcome. And another thing, if any of you, it do not have to be your masjid, your masjid, or however, whatever you call your place where you convene at for worship. It can be a community center, or another environment. If anyone want to invite me in to to come in and do this presentation in person at your location, I will do that. So you can reach me at 228. You can see the numbers on the flyer there, that's up on the screen. You can reach out to me and I give you the particulars on what it would take for me to be bought in, to be accommodated while I'm there, et cetera, et cetera. And we can go from there. So I just wanted to let you all know that. that you have that option to bring me in, so we can do this. Okay. So that being said, we're gonna go ahead and close out at this point. Um, Before we close out, Manira, do you want to make the announcement for our upcoming host meeting?
Yes,
Then I'll
we
close
have
out
our
after that.
we have our upcoming host meeting today, first Saturday of the month at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The allotted time is 1 until 2:30. We might not take all 90 minutes, but we allow that time. So please join us at our monthly host meeting right here uh, on Zoom.
Okay.
Yes, Imam Tariq.
Yes, Mark. That's you, Mark.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes,
Be brief. Be
yeah, it
brief.
is. No, no. I don't have anything to say other than you did an excellent
Thank
job.
you. Thank you.
But now this is what I'm suggesting. You have to remember everybody is not visual. You have people that are visually challenged. So you give the number for those that can't see because our ears or our eyes. That's the only thing I want to say to you.
Okay,
Assalamu
well, let
alaikum.
me give you the number then. Thank you for that correction. I do accept that. It's 228-209-2877. I will repeat. 228-209-2877.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
We'll close out.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. ربنا أتنا في دنيا حسنتين وفي آخرة حسنتين وقنا عذاب النار. Our Lord, bestow good upon us in this life and bestow good upon us in the life to come and save us from the torment of the fire. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum.